How do you balance growth and safety with your retirement investments? So let's look at the bookends. We've got safe cash or government bonds, risky shares. Most diversified portfolios are kind of a combination of those plus property and some other assets. So the share market, we know, has the better returns in the long run, but it has the most volatility. We know cash is the safest, but it has no growth. So we know we need a good return. So part of it is context. Have a proper plan, know the return that you need to get within reason by having a plan where you've got a good picture of where you're at, know your goals, and then you can look at your risk profile, which is just your own attitude to risk. Market volatility is inevitable. So you've got to know how you would act when markets go down, not if they go down, but when they go down. And don't expect anyone to tell you when they're about to go down. Nobody knows for sure. Some people might feel like it's a bit closer than others, and some will be right, some will be wrong, but no one can ever tell you. So you've just got to assess where you'd be at. So one of it is know that risk profile. And then there's ways to manage the money to reduce the risk. The most boring investment principle of all, but the most powerful one, is diversification. So diversification is where you bargain away the right to make a killing in return for never being killed. Now, most of you would have heard not having all your eggs in the one basket. That is part of that as well. So a mixture of Australian shares, international shares, property, bonds, and some other assets, including gold, gives a nice, boring, diversified portfolio, which will minimise the risk at any level of return. So boring diversification. We look at this. There's three ways that people lose money in the share market. The first is they panic and sell when the markets drop and they lock in those losses. The second way is they have to sell when the markets are down and they lock in those losses. And the third is not truly diversified. We just said make sure you've got good diversification. And I would point out at low cost as well. So because fees matter. But let's look at those first two. So making sure you're never going to panic and sell means having confidence in your investments, having confidence in the people, and knowing enough about the markets, not everything, but to know that volatility is inevitable. It's kind of like seasons, but unpredictable. And then it's okay, how do we make sure we never have to sell at a bad time? So we use a process which is called a liquidity reserve or a liquidity bucket strategy. So depending on how aggressive the investments are, we keep a short-term reserve. So let's say for a balanced investor, it might be 2.5 years worth of their income needs. So if someone's got $1 million, they're pulling out $60,000 a year, we'd keep about $120,000 in short-term investment. That's known as a liquidity bucket. All the investment dividends from the other returns go into that, and the payments go out of that. And each year when we do their review, or each 6 months when we do their review, we top that up, except when markets are down. And if markets are down, we wait and we schedule to top that up when it goes back up. So that means they never have to sell good assets at a bad time. If we're communicating to them and we send out a monthly video to our clients that talks about what's happening in the market, that talks about where that is in context of the cycle. So that's helped our clients never panic and sell at a bad time. And in the last 15 years, we've never had anyone panic and sell at the bad time. And the third is beautiful, boring diversification. And that's how we make sure that people get the right balance with their investments. Once they've got that, they can then pick a risk profile that's suitable, knowing they're not going to panic. They're going to have money all the time. So they're not going to have to sell, and they've got a really good level of diversification. So hopefully that explains how we did that.